Okay, it's 5 o'clock. I want to call the City of Cumming Planning and Zoning meeting for January 21st, 2020 to order. Item number 2, adoption of the agenda. Adopt the agenda. I need to make a motion, and part of it's listed on here, but please, everybody pay attention, make sure we get the right dates. The following change to the agenda. Under 4A, Lennar, Georgia rezoning number 2018321 is postponed until February 18th. The agenda says March 17th, but it's February 18th. Item number 5A, Core Development Group rezoning 2019422 is postponed to March 17th. 5B, Ashton Atlanta Residential LLC rezoning 2019423 is postponed to February 18th. 5C, 14905 Hopewell Group LLC annexation number 2019263 postponed to February 18th. And F, Smith Motors Realty Corp annexation number 2019476 is postponed to February 18th. Do I have a second from a member to make those changes to the agenda?
Second.
Most second, everybody vote. Carries unanimous. Thank you. Everybody got the date. Like I said, one's a little different than what it said. Just want to make sure everybody's got that right. Okay, item number 3. Do I make a motion we approve December 17th, 2019 minutes?
Motion, we approve the minutes.
Second.
Most second, everybody vote. Carries unanimous. Thank you. Item number 4, postponed. Item number 5A, B, and C is postponed. Let's finally find something to do. 5D, Elliott and Kendra Rubin rezoning number 2019468. Do I have a motion to open public hearing?
Motion open the hearing.
Second.
Motion second, everybody vote. Carries unanimous. Public hearing's now open. Somebody want to come up and explain to us about this, what you got in mind, what you want to do? We have your packages and we'll review them. If you can come up and tell us a little about it.
Hi, I'm Kendra Rubin. We found the little house at 529 Kelly Mill Road, and we would like to turn it into a hair salon. It's a one-room, half-bath house that was actually built to be a salon, I believe, in the 90s, and we'd like to reopen it as such.
Okay. Couple of questions. We'll go ahead and ask some, and there may be some more in a minute after somebody else speaks. This is formerly a hair salon, was used as a hair salon, everything else. Under the stuff you've submitted, are you making any changes to the, any change in the use whatsoever? This one's kind of weird on us because it has been used under a conditional use permit and not a zoning. I'm going to explain to you while I'm asking all this. So we have permitted it as is, but if you go to making changes, then we're running into a lot of different elements. So is there any proposal in any changes whatsoever?
Other than like painting and renovations, no, sir, we hadn't planned on it.
Okay. Let me ask you another question as far as access. I know you're showing on what you submitted. I don't know if we have this where we can put it up, but we'll make it available to people. We're just an advisory board anyway. It's still got to go on. If you're showing a driveway in the middle, a proposed future driveway here in the middle, but we already have a driveway to the left-hand side and a driveway, well, if you're looking at the property, a driveway that's not yours to the left-hand side and a driveway to the right-hand that accesses this property. Somewhere or another, we need to figure out how to use that driveway. We can't add another driveway that close. You're either going to have to get an easement to share with the Martins and put in that one driveway and figure out how to get in and out of the property. We cannot add with no more frontage than you have there another driveway.
Yes, sir.
So that would be one of the conditions. I just want to make sure you're clear on that. We can't have that many driveways that close together. Okay. That was the first question. That was the main question right there. So let's hear from some others, and we may have some more. Okay. Anybody got any other questions from y'all right this second before we hear from anybody else?
No.
All right. Thank you. We may call you back up in a minute. Do we have anybody else that'd like to speak on this one?
Yes, I'm Robert Hodges. I live next door to that property, lived there for almost half my life, or maybe a little more than half my life. But we've it's been quite a few years since that's been a full-time beauty shop. And when it was a beauty shop, it was only a two-chair beauty shop. I noticed the application was asking for a three-chair beauty shop. And parking has always been an issue there. It's such a tiny little shop, such a tiny little area to park in. When it was a beauty shop, they were able to use the adjacent parking as the property as overflow parking. And many times, with the people coming and going, waiting, they would end up using our driveway. I know the owner didn't want them to use our driveway, but they would exit out our driveway. So it presented a few issues. That's really not the main issue, but it was a safety issue on our part. The traffic on Kelly Mill now, as some of you probably know, has gotten tremendous. And especially in the summertime, you're driving right into the sun. And if they park in front of that beauty shop or put signs up there, it really blocks our sight lines looking into town. We're concerned about that tremendously. We're not opposed to neighborhood shopping. I just would like to see more of an office-type project or something like that there, something that's not quite as intensive with people coming and going and needing a lot of parking. We would appreciate the planning board taking these issues into consideration, and also the county ordinances and the county, it's the city regulations, the city regulations when you're making the recommendations to the council.
Question, there's not any access from your driveway anymore, is there?
No.
Okay, I thought that.
I mean, we just recently, when they put it up for sale, we actually planted
That's,
a little bit of stuff up through there just because even the real estate people that were coming in out there, looking at the property, were coming in, not our drive.
I just want to make sure, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Hey, I actually didn't know he was going to be here. I'm actually right behind him in the Sienna subdivision.
Yes, sir.
And
State your name, I'm
Could you
sorry.
state your name?
Robert Becker.
Robert Becker, okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
And I'm at 620 Wild Meadow Glen in Sienna subdivision.
Yes, sir.
I've been there about 15 years with my wife and kids. Honestly, I don't know how I feel about it. They look like very nice people, and wish them all the luck in whatever they do. I think the concern for me right now is really beyond just that building. What does that potentially change in the area? If that one little property becomes an S, does that change and affect the other properties, especially the 6.6 acres next door? Mm-hmm. The realtor has said, on their site that they're looking to make it potentially R3, or whether it became NS, and it's certainly priced not in a residential pricing. So it's about 3 times what a going rate is in that area. Okay. So that leads me to wonder and concern, is that more commercial, which doesn't make any sense. So as far as that particular property goes, I'm going to leave it to those who are directly behind and affected by that. But again, my bigger concern is once it becomes NS, anything that I think would qualify under NS could then go in subsequently, whether that be 6 months, 6 years, or what have you, that it wouldn't necessarily always be a hair salon. And whether we end up with another bail bonds or
Right.
things like that, that's the concern.
Okay,
All right.
thank you, sir. Okay, would anyone else like to speak for or against? Yes, ma'am.
I just wanted to add one little thing for you, sir. I know when I guess when I entered in like how many chairs there would be in the salon and things, I said 3 as like a maximum. As of right now, there's only me. We would probably have maybe one other person, but there would only be maybe 4 cars in the parking lot at once, like max. If that, I don't know if that helps at all, but.
Thank you. Okay, any other questions from the board? I have a motion to close the public hearing.
Motion to close the public hearing.
Motion seconded by vote. It is unanimous. Scott, do you have a staff report?
I do.
We are going to need to address condition number 3 as proposed by staff, but we can look at that at that time. The applicant has made application on behalf of the property owner to rezone .156 acres, more or less, from single-family residential to neighborhood shopping for the purpose of establishing a hair salon in the existing structure at 529 Kelly Mill Road. The building was the previous location of a hair salon, existing as a legal non-conforming use, and was subsequently vacated, which is why the property must now be rezoned in order to establish another hair salon. The neighborhood shopping zoning district is a satisfactory transition district between residential and other more intensive land use. Future land use shows residential, public institutional, and parks, recreation, conservation in the surrounding area. For the above mentioned reasons, staff recommends approval of the rezoning to neighborhood shopping with the following conditions. Number 1, the property can only be used as a hair salon. Any other proposed use must be approved by the mayor and council. The existing structure, this is number 2, existing structure cannot be expanded in any way without prior approval of the mayor and council. Condition number 3, and this is the one we'll have to revise based on your question. Ingress, egress to the property, staff shows must be through the future entry apron shown on the attached plan. 5 parking spaces must be provided, including 1 marked handicap space which meets ADA size requirements. If the parking area is paved, the paving must be approved by the Department of Planning and Zoning. Condition number 4, the number of stylish chairs shall be no more than 2 currently existing. Condition number 5, all business signage must be approved and permitted by the Department of Planning and Zoning. And condition number 6, hours of operation shall be from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. Monday through Saturday. As I said, we'll need to address, that's the staff conditions. We'll have to answer any questions, but we'll need to address that condition number 3.
Okay. Any comments or questions from the board?
Yes, sir.
They got an acre and a half?
It's not but about 0.2 acres.
Thought he said 1.65.
0.15.
It's not about 2 acres.
0.16.
Yeah, it's about 6,200 square feet.
Okay. I'm gonna make a motion. Send rezoning number 2019468 forward to council for approval, but we're gonna condition it. You got the one about can only be used for a hair salon, nothing else. Existing structure cannot be amended, only 2 chairs. Item number 3, from your recommendations. Property must be accessed from the driveway on the eastern front corner only, and all parking must be against the building and not against the right-of-way. And you must provide the 5 parking spaces, including 1 marked handicap. If any parking area is paved, it must be approved by the Department of Planning and Zoning and not increase runoff on any adjoining property owners. Got all that, Jeff? That's off the top of my head, sitting here talking. Have you got that?
Yeah.
Okay. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion second, everybody vote. Carries unanimous. Thank you. All right, item E, Clutch Automotive LLC, conditional use permit number 2019470, public hearing. Do I have a motion to open the public hearing on 2019470?
Motion, we open the public hearing.
Motion second, everybody vote. Carries unanimous. All right, somebody want to come up and tell us what we're doing here? Put this back together and put it up.
Good afternoon.
Yes, sir.
We are leasing the property at 328
I'm sorry, please state your name.
Sean Rezai Dashti,
Okay.
and we are trying to move into 328 Dahlonega Street as a used car dealership. We are currently in Alpharetta, Georgia, and we are wanting to move into that location.
Okay. How long have you been in the car business?
As selling 2 years, but in the industry longer.
Any questions right now from the board? I got some more from Scott.
Sit down where, right there by Bill
Scott,
Waters'
just,
old office.
I know we're talking about that, but this is the Larry Watson car lot that we have already approved this exact conditional use for somebody, but they're subleasing it. So
That,
we're
well,
doing it
I'm not sure if
again.
they're subleasing or not, but it was the lot that was approved for Sony Motors for Mike Stout last year.
That's who we're leasing it from.
So you're leasing it front, this is just
So
a
it is a
mirror,
sublease.
all we're doing is changing the name, no conditions or nothing's changing.
Right.
This is just a mirror.
Well, the conditions are going to be slightly different only because their proposed plan is a little bit different. So
Okay.
the conditions, basically the same conditions, just a little differently worded.
The conditional use permit that we issued last year was specific to that business.
Specific, when we do these, they're specific to each individual.
That's
If he's
correct.
subleasing, that's the only reason we're doing this. This is nothing new, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, just want to make sure. All right, anybody got any questions? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right, does anyone else like to speak on this issue? Okay, I'll make a motion to close the public hearing.
Motion close here.
Second.
Motion second, everybody vote, carries unanimous, thank you. Scott, do you have a staff report?
Yes, sir, I do. It's in your packet. I'll read it into the record. The applicant has made application to the proper authorities for conditional use permit to allow a used automobile sales establishment at 328 Dahlonega Street. The property is zoned highway business, is currently vacant, and has previously been granted a CUP for an automobile sales business. Automobile sales are permitted by right in the highway business zoning district. Staff recommends approval of the CUP request with the following 3 conditions. Number 1, no more than 28 vehicles for sale will be allowed to be parked on the subject property at one time. Condition number 2, a loading unloading zone, a minimum of 14 feet wide and 40 feet long, must be located on the subject property. It must remain continuously free of vehicles and must be directly accessible from the street. And condition number 3, there must be a minimum of 4 parking spaces, including 1 handicap space available for business customers and directly accessible from the street. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions from the board? Condition number 2, Scott, the loading, unloading zone, that cannot be on the right of way, correct?
That's correct, and that's
Do
one
we
of
have to state that, or is that a given?
well, that's why I've said it has to be located on the subject property, and one of the questions that I addressed from the gentleman is that when we go out to inspect it for a certificate of occupancy before we issue a business license, we have to make sure that that loading, unloading zone is not on the right of way, but is entirely on the property.
Okay, so we have an avenue to take care of.
We do, we have a mechanism to handle that.
That's what I'm making sure of. Okay. I'll make a motion to send conditional use permit number 2019470 forward to the council for approval with conditions as stated in the staff report.
Second.
Motion second, everybody vote. Carries unanimous. Thank you. Item F, Smith Motors Realty Corporation Annexation number 2019476, postponed. So 6, any announcements, anybody?
No, sir.
Item number 7, I have a motion to adjourn.
Motion adjourned.
Second.
Motion second, everybody vote. Carries unanimous. Thank you very much.